Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm going to try to do these weekly lectures and send them out as part of the news forum. And then, as the semester progresses, I might miss a week here and there because of grading, and I want to use that time to give you quality comments on your papers, um, or, grading my other courses, or things may come up. But generally speaking, I'm going to try to do these each week on top of my daily posts, just to kind of see where you all are in the course, because I understand online courses are, shall we say, sometimes more difficult than face-to-face courses, in particular because of the lack of interaction, regular interaction with a faculty member. So there are a few questions that have come up on the Q&A and a few things that have come up in the introduction and orientation form that I want to just address and kind of clarify for you. I feel like they were pretty clear. If you've been reading the materials, we'll look at some of those materials. Today, again, we'll look at those materials and how to navigate Moodle again, because I know for some of you, you're just starting with us and this is your first online course. And online courses, again, can be intimidating. So the first thing is you've noticed here, we see it highlighted, that the title of the course is The World of the Image. It's English 102 W2Q. The W2Q is your section code. This is your course number. And then this is the subtitle of the course. And the subtitle of the course is based on our reader. So you can see the reader here. Most of you should have picked this up by now, and hopefully the bookstore has it. If not, you should be able to get it online easily. It's published by Pearson. It's listed in the course-specific syllabus. The reader, every 102 at McNeese has a reader, and they all have different readers, and every teacher, in a sense, has a different approach to the reader. How I would like to approach this reader this semester is as a touchstone, and what I mean by that is this is something we return to for conversation and for ideas and for inspiration. We are going to analyze in our discussion forums, particularly later in the first one, some of the texts that are in this reader, and I'm going to expect you to be practicing citation using the reader, citing specific articles that are in the reader, and I'm going to expect you to show me that you have been reading the assigned chapters. And of course those chapters will show up in your essays themselves. So everything we deal with this semester will in some way interconnect with the readings in this book. Now, the other major book, you have 3 total textbooks, but the other major book, again, is this composition and rhetoric guide, and it's what I often refer to as the CRG. This, for composition and rhetoric guide, it's the shorthand for it. This book is really a reference, but there are some activities in here that are extremely important. And there are some ideas in here that are extremely important. For example, right now in the introduction and orientation module, you see my cursor there on the screen. I'm going to click on that. If you're working in the discussion forum, as you should be, since this is due on Monday, you can see that part of the posts is to practice documenting your MLA citation style and to refer specifically to these readings about active reading and research. Now those readings are listed on the reading schedule, and I embedded it in part because I wanted to make sure that everybody was reading things step by step. So if you want to find the reading calendar, you might not be able to see it. My picture in the video might hide it, but it's here under the syllabus and plagiarism policy chapter in the Moodle book. You click on that. That gives you the link for the PDF, and then it gives you the page numbers on here in the textbook. So you have the page numbers for active reading, and they're 105 through 9 in the textbook. So if you look at that, page 105 through 09, in this textbook, the CRG, They give you some information on why reading matters, the importance of how to read on the college level, and some strategies for reading these texts. And the reason I front load that this semester, that means put it at the beginning of this semester, is because many students had put comments in their portfolio review last semester that we didn't spend a lot of time talking about reading on the college level. So I wanted to give that a sort of starting point, make that our starting point this semester, because there are articles in this text, the reader, that aren't always going to be easy to understand. Okay? So that's hopefully clarifies a little bit of the confusion there. Our number one task, of course, is the writing of essays. We're going to talk about, study, develop essays. But in order to write essays, you have to have a topic. You have to have something to talk about. And so what we're going to talk about is the image. Now, what I'm going to try to do, being that this book is our touchstone, is I'm going to try to encourage you, not try to, I'm actually going to require of you to develop your own sort of research direction so you can really make these writings your own and make them relate to your major. For example, I saw some of you are in business administration, some of you are interested in nursing, some of you are just returning to school and doing it, you know, getting a degree because of your kids encouraging you, and you said once they were out of the house you would do that. These are all great and noble reasons for being in school. So use that to drive your research. Use that to drive your thinking. So as you start reading this in the next module, which will start next week, you need to read that first chapter, that first section. It's called the, let me see here in the text. The first section is called The Act of Seeing, and it talks about what vision is. And you need to start looking at the next module, which is going to be the Developer Prospectus and Essay module. And I can't access the book right now as a student in my student view because I have not participated in the discussion forum according to this, right? So you have to participate in that first discussion forum in order to access the next module. If you don't do that by the first, you won't really be able to move forward in the class, and that's, I know, going to create some confusion for some students because I know it's tough to do discussion forums sometimes. But the truth is the discussion forum is necessary to have you all engaged in the course with each other, and it is typically a requirement of most online classes. Let's change the view so that I can show you that next module. Okay, so this will become so you can see it once you've done it, but you're going to start reading the materials in here. Now there's a few other documents that you're going to work through, like things that make writing teachers cringe. You're going to work on the library unit, which, as you see, is not visible right now. I'm going to make that visible soon. And then this talks a bit more about the reader and how you will use it and what our topic is. In fact, you know, there's a discussion here that I want you all to be involved in, and you see that one of your peers has already done so. So that gives you basically what you need to start developing over the next week. Some basic ideas there, and hopefully clarifies how these textbooks work. The Composition and Rhetoric Guide is your reference for how to write essays in English 102. It has all your syllabi, except for the course-specific syllabi. It has information on how to organize an essay, some of those things we'll talk about, and it has a lot of self-assessment rubrics, which you will be doing a lot of the semester. You might not necessarily get a grade for those things, but I will expect you to be doing those things. I will be focusing primarily on grading the papers themselves and the discussion forums. Which brings me to my last little plug here, and that is the importance of the discussion forums. I've been posting almost literally every day since the first day of the semester about this. The discussion forum is really your participation grade this semester. Yes, there are other assignments that count. The first GMSA, submitting the email etiquette form, all those things. But the discussion forum is the most important assignment outside of your essays. Yes, you cannot pass this course without submitting every single essay. All essays must be submitted, and the essays are weighted much more heavily than the other activities. But the next step below that essay, those essays, are the discussion forums. And right now, the participation has been really lax on that first one, and I'm very concerned about that. So I want to make sure that everybody understands how important those are to your grade, to this class. A lot of what we will be doing will be discussing these ideas and topics toward developing your papers, and each paper is going to be, in a sense, a research paper that's, drawing upon articles, drawing upon videos, that's drawing upon all this information to discuss the image. And in order to do that, we need to have these conversations. And the only way to have a conversation in an online course is through a discussion forum. So the main idea here too then that get across is that many of you many students think that a discussion forum is something you can post on the day it is due or the day before it is due and still get full credit for it. Discussion forums do not work that way. A discussion forum is an ongoing assignment. What you have is a window of time to participate in that discussion, and really your participation needs to begin on day one, and then you have a week to 2 weeks, sometimes less, sometimes it's only going to be like 3 days to get involved in that conversation. If you look at my syllabus, the course specific syllabus, and some of the other documents, it's pretty prescriptive as to the grading. Let me show you here, not the GMSA, but the plagiarism policy. Start here. Okay, so let's go to that course specific syllabus. There you go. When you look at this, should open up now for you, you can see that I have a very prescriptive grading structure for it, and it talks about that right here. That is reiterated a number of times in documents online. So there's no excuse for not knowing what's expected of you in those forums. One of the keys I think right now that we're missing in the current discussion forum, even those students that are participating in it, is the practicing in-text citations from the reading. They have the works cited entry, and that is Dr. Costello's name and the editor and all that, but I provided that for you. You need to start practicing citing in-text page numbers and that sort of thing. Now, how to learn how to do that is what your third textbook is about, the handbook. And you should have used this in your 101. If you did not, you're going to use it now. So look for that MLA section. It should look something like this, and look at the the in-text citations. The page numbers are different if you have the 4th or 5th edition. I have the older edition here in my office, and the newer edition I use at home as a reference. So the page numbers change. If for some reason you don't have that book, sorry, my books almost fell off my desk. If for some reason you don't have that book, another great resource you can use as a reference is Al at Purdue, and you can go to their MLA formatting and look at how they do in-text citations. All that information is right there for you. Okay, so that's all I have for this week for the update lecture. If y'all have any questions, post them to the Q&A forum. Any questions related specifically to what we're talking about right now, post to the discussion forum. I will be checking those during my office hours on Monday. to see where you are, and I will start grading those on Tuesday. The forum closes Monday night, and then you need to start working in that other module, and I'll open all those things up so they're viewable for you after that time. So again, if you have any questions, post them in the Q&A forum.